Iceman, doing well. We are upon the holiday season, right? I feel like this next week sort of kicks everything off with Thanksgiving, short work week, right into the holidays. But I have to admit, um, around the coach's house here, there was some Christmas decorating that occurred last weekend, and I used to be a hardliner, man. Like you don't decorate until after Thanksgiving, but I think that the pandemic really changed my perspective of that because I love Christmas and I'm like, "You know what? Like, after going through all that craziness, I was like, what's so bad about more of a good thing, right?
Nothing.
More
Yep.
happiness, enjoying it longer." So I'm a little bit of a traditionalist, but I was able to justify adjusting my perspective, and I'm happy I did.
Always a good thing in life to adjust your perspective, especially as you get older, because it's just the way it works. So I'm with you. I think when you have young children, that your perspective does change a little bit because I can tell you that the young man in our house who will be in here very, very shortly to make not one, but two picks this time. So we are ramping things up, but he has been very excited. And we are leaving tomorrow for Charleston, South Carolina. But do not worry, Jonah. We will be live again next week, possibly thrice. You never know. We'll get into that in a minute, but we're kind of the same way. So we got the decorations downstairs and they are ready for when we get home from this week-long trip in South Carolina over Thanksgiving. And that Sunday we get back, much like this show, we're getting after it. We are decorating and we are going. Christmas is going to throw up all over the house. And Jonah, that is a direct quote from your mom. So that is exactly what's going to happen in the Freights household, and I'm excited.
So I have a question for you.
Yes.
My wife and I were having this conversation last night. What is your Christmas decor style? Do you think that you have one?
Yes, I do. I am not one of those new agey people. I much prefer a cozy sort of. Now, I should preface this with you got to remember, you and I are of the same age. I grew up in the 80s and 90s. And so much of my mom's decor, which came from the 80s, was a lot of garland, a lot of flashing lights, colored lights, things of this nature. But when it comes to decorating, I don't like new age Santa. I'm not a big fan of like Santa and sunglasses. I want the big beard, I want the big belly, I want the big furry red coat. And I'm much more of a traditionalist when it comes to decorating. However, I do have a hard line in my outdoor lights are colored. I am not
Yes.
hearing anything
Man,
else.
dude, that's what sparked the conversation because I am a passionate supporter of colored Christmas lights. And
As you should be.
my wife loves the white lights. And I'm like, there's a place for them. Um, I'm not disagreeing that they can be used to accent colored lights in
Now you're
some way,
talking.
shape, or
Yes.
form, but I think that I just I was trying to describe to her because what else was something else that was a part of the conversation was that, you know, I sensed a little displeasure with maybe what was perceived to be my lack of enthusiasm for the decorating process. And so, what I explained was it's not that I have no problem with the fact that we're decorating, but I just feel that um, I have preferences as far as what I like in terms of decorations go, a style. We disagree on those styles. And so I'm fine to let you do what you want to do, but you're going to do it. And I mean, something along those lines. And it's kind of one of those it's tough to be motivated when you feel like you're not maybe not enjoying the process as much as you would if you felt like your preferences were being incorporated. Now, through conversation, she pointed out several different aspects of our decorations that I have had input on and that are catered to my style. So, it's probably more collaborative than I give it credit for. But I did some Googling because she said, "Can you give me an example of what your style is?" And I did find a name for it. It's,
Okay.
uh, it was called, like, Classic Christmas Traditional. Like, that's literally, like that was a name. I found it multiple times. Any images I found were pretty spot on as far as the types of things that I enjoy. But, yeah, at the heart of my preferred decor is colored lights, absolutely.
Yes. So, one of the hardest things to do when you become in a committed relationship is taking what you have always done in the holidays, what somebody else has always done in the holidays, and bringing them together. My wife and I went through this because, again, my perception of the holidays was as much color, as much flash as possible. And that was not her style, right? She grew up in a much more, I don't even want to say traditional style. It was just definitely a much more muted style. Her family doesn't do Christmas the way that mine did, in the sense that we were all Christmas, right? Everything was Christmas. The towels were Christmas. The placemats were Christmas. Like everything went that direction. My mom loved that time of year. So that's what she did, because when she was a kid, that was the only time of year where things felt normal for them, because my grandmother went out of her way to make them feel less poor as they were growing up, right? And so my wife, again, was kind of not into that. But as things come over time, right, you start to take both ideas and bring them together. And I think that's the hardest part, is like figuring out a happy medium between the two. Now, what we have found here is there's compromises to be made. So here's a great example: is our tree is artificial. We don't do real trees because it's a lot of hassle with a dog and now a kid and all that. But she likes white lights on a Christmas tree. I like colored. So we bought lights that interchange. So now we can change them back and forth. And we kind of go every other day. We switch things off. The outside is a different story, all color. That's my domain, and that's fine. But we have some decorations that are white lights. They're like a reindeer, a Santa, and they accent what is going on. And we're actually going to put up like wreaths this year that are going to have some white lights on them. So now your colored lights pop even more. And you're right, there's a time and place for everything. But her style of decorating is definitely more along the lines of like farm colonial. And so what she likes in decorations totally matches what I'm into. And so she has free domain to buy any of the decorations that she wants. As a matter of fact, today she went to a Christmas house and was like, it wasn't that bad, in talking about the bill. And I was like, I don't care. You can buy whatever you'd like. And we have more than a quarter of our crawl space is Christmas decorations. Have at it. Just absolutely have at it. I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Great time of year, and I mean, nothing says football Friday like a little Christmas decor
Hey,
conversation, right?